Hi, welcome to Teacher Inspiration Station. I'm Melissa Clark. In today's video, I'm going to give you some tips and advice for new teachers to help your year go more smoothly. This video is in collaboration with a lot of awesome teacher YouTubers, and I'll link their channels down below. A big thanks goes out to Vanessa at My2ndGradeLife and Chelsea at TeachinginPearls for organizing this collaboration. And like I said, I'm going to link all the videos down below of teachers who are offering their advice and tips because trust me, you're going to need it. Before we get started, if it is your first time here, welcome. I'd really like it if you considered subscribing to my channel. I do teaching videos, but I also do lifestyle videos as well. I've been really into planners lately. That's been my jam. But yeah, I just document my life and I like to share advice to teachers. So if you're interested, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you. And if you're returning, thank you for coming back. And let's get started. So I would describe my first year of teaching as tough. I was gonna say it was a disaster, but that's a little dramatic. I hope that it is my toughest year in my teaching career, and I don't have any years that are tougher than my first year was. I made a ton of mistakes, and I really wish that I had videos like this to help me because I would have been a lot better off. So the first tip I'd like to give you is set very clear rules, routines, and expectations. Know what you want. And I didn't really know what I wanted my first year of teaching. Yes, I talked about rules, but they weren't really enforced. If a student broke a rule, there was no real consequence. If you have the expectation that students line up without talking and they start talking, send them back and have them do it again. If there are certain kids, have them practice during their own time. Have them practice during recess. Have them practice during activity time. If your expectation is one thing and the students do another and there's no consequence for it, there's no practice or follow-up, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have students just constantly break the rules and just will not rise to that expectation because you haven't enforced it. Don't worry so much about curriculum, and that was my mistake. I just started teaching. Don't worry about that. Just get your routines established, your expectations known, review the rules every day, and just focus on setting that nice solid foundation. And once you get to curriculum and actually really diving in and teaching, you don't have to deal with as many behavioral challenges. Tip number 2. Be consistent and follow through with what you say. And this is in line with what I just told you about having clear expectations. So when I say there is no talking during a lesson, and then you have kids having a little conversation, have those kids owe you time, and make sure that if you said to them, you owe me time, like you owe me 5 minutes during recess, actually follow through with it. I have been guilty in the past of forgetting when I've told a student, oh, you owe me some time here, or forgetting to administer a consequence, because they say consequences should be immediate, but I think sometimes you can't give the consequence right away, but I can tell them right away what their consequence is going to be and make sure that you follow through with it. You can't sometimes enforce rules and sometimes you don't, because the kids learn not to take you seriously and they don't know if you're actually gonna go through with what you said you were gonna do or you're not. Consistency is key because the students know what to expect and they know what you expect of them. And they know that it's every day and not just once in a while, sometimes. Depends on the teacher's mood. Having a well-oiled machine is not something that happens overnight. But if you're consistent and you follow through with what you say, your classroom will run a lot more smoothly. Tip number 3, take charge of your classroom. I don't know what my deal was when I first got hired, but I was like a deer in headlights, like, oh, you know, this is my classroom, these are my kids, and I didn't have that good solid leadership. I had a high school student in my class who's doing a placement in my room, and she a lot of times would just go on Facebook, and she'd go on the computer on Facebook, and I never told her, okay, you need to get off Facebook and work with the kids. I didn't take that leadership in my classroom, And a lot of that nonsense that I allowed happen in my first year would never fly today. Like, I would never do it. I feel like if I nipped those things in the bud, it wouldn't have gone on. A big piece of advice is just take charge of your classroom. It's your room. You're the leader in your room. And yeah, take charge. Tip number 4, do not take anything for granted. You need to teach the children everything. Everything. You might think, oh, they know this, they should know this by now. No, they don't know. You have to teach them how to enter the classroom, how to line up, how to use the materials, how to put the lid back on the markers, how to use glue, how to clean up their mess when they're finished working. Paper goes in the recycling. You have to teach them how to walk in the hallway, how to use scissors, how to hold a book, and how to turn the pages. Like, everything. That's one thing I have learned. Do not think or assume that they know. And there are those precious, precious gems who are just, you don't need to tell them anything, they know, but a lot of them are just not like that. So model things and have them practice. And what I do is I do role playing too, and I show them what is expected. Have kids tell you, okay, what am I doing wrong? I'm gonna enter the classroom and you tell me what it is that I'm doing wrong. And I'll walk in the classroom and I'll be loud and I'm running and then I just sit on a chair and then I just act like a wild child. And then the kids are giggling or whatever, but I'm showing them what I don't want them to do. And then I model for them what I want them to do. So I walk in the classroom, or whatever your routine is, you model that. So if the first thing I have to do is get a book, you model that. Walk, take the book, sit, open it, and you show it for them, and then you have kids model it, and then you say, okay, we're gonna pretend that the bell rang, we are entering the classroom, and have them line up and have them like do a lot of role. And like, I know, like what I said about the curriculum, like you're gonna spend a lot of your time practicing, and that's fine. Like, that's okay. Not to say they don't learn anything, like you're not gonna do any work, like they're gonna do work, but I'm talking about as far as like diving into a unit and get like establish. Again, I'm saying the same thing, but establish your routines first. And like I said, do not take anything for granted. You have to teach them everything. Tip number 5, don't try and do it all. I remember my first year, I was just like, I gotta do this. Oh, they don't know how to do that. And chill. Like, if I could go back and talk to myself, I just look myself in the eye and say, you need to chill and relax, okay? If you try and do it all, you're not gonna do any one thing properly. A great thing to work on during your first year, and every year really, is your classroom management. What systems work for you, what is not working for you. We all have different personalities and different approaches. What works for one teacher may not work for another. So I would say, get your feet wet in that area. That is the most important thing, classroom management. If you want to focus on, okay, I'm going to focus on my reading program, reader's workshop, and, focus on that. Of course, you're going to be teaching math and science and everything else, but I find that when you try and just dive in and just kind of take everything on and try and be perfect at everything, you're going to fall short because you're a human and you can't. Just focus on one thing that you really want to do well in, or 2 things, and don't try and do it all. Tip number 6, find a mentor. Now, I'm lucky that in my board, there's a new teacher induction program where the principal assigns a mentor to you, and usually it's a person who is in the same grade as you. But I'm not sure if all districts do that or if all schools do that. But if you can find a mentor, someone that will take you under their wings and show you the ropes, and it will make your life easier. My mentor was lovely. Taught kindergarten, and she was teaching kindergarten as well. And I went to her. She spent a lot of her time helping me out. I asked her a lot of questions. She modeled things for me. I observed her classroom, and she was great. I know you're new at the school. You can ask the principal if there's someone that they can set you up with, or if you feel comfortable, if you've befriended teachers at the school, you can ask them, hey, can you be my mentor? Can you help me out? And I found that a lot of times teachers are willing to help. I mean, there are some teachers who aren't, and I feel like that's just their personality. They're just like to themselves, and they're like, yeah, leave me alone. But when you meet someone, if they're going to be helpful, and if you feel comfortable asking them to be that role, because it is extremely helpful when you have a teacher mentor. Tip number 7, balance. Oh my goodness. My first year of teaching, I lived at the school. That was my life. Teaching was my life. The students were my life. And the students that I have today, they are still a huge part of my life. Obviously, I spent so much time with them. But I would basically leave the school when the caretaker kicked me out. Like, I was there constantly. And just don't forget to spend time with your family and your friends. If your friend has a birthday party, don't say, oh, I can't go, I have to laminate. You know, like, there is always something to do. You're never going to be finished everything. There's always going to be papers to mark, things to laminate, things to decorate, things to photocopy, things to organize, things to set up, lessons to plan. There's always going to be something to do. And yeah, no teacher has said, I'm done everything, and then just relaxed. No, you're always going to find something to do. So just have a life outside of the school as well. Tip number 8, reflect. Think about what's going well, what's not going well, what you'd like to change, something you'd like to continue doing. And sometimes in teaching, like, if something is not working well in a year, you can change it. But one of the beautiful things about teaching is you get to start fresh every year. You get a new batch of students, and you can say, you know what, this wasn't working last year, I'm gonna do things differently this year. And even sometimes within that school year, you might make a change in something that's just not working. But yeah, constantly reflect, and that will help you grow. Tip number 9, take constructive feedback. You're new, you're gonna make mistakes. Even me, I'm an experienced teacher, but I still make mistakes. When someone is giving you their advice and they're being kind with it, they're being constructive, don't take it personally, don't be insulted, because everybody is not perfect. And these tips that they're giving you is to help you be better as a teacher. Now, if you feel like you're getting bashed and you're just like constantly being told what you're not doing right, and you feel like you're failing and they're not being supported, that's different. I understand that you would take that hard. But if someone is just being giving you a genuine constructive critique, oh, maybe you should try doing this, or I'm noticing that this is happening, then just listen to what they have to say and take the advice, because it's gonna help you be better. And tip number 10 is give yourself a break. You're new at this. Student teaching and actual teaching are two completely different things. You can only learn so much in school. Once you have your own classroom, that is when the real learning takes place. And like I've said many times in this video, you're gonna make mistakes, and don't beat yourself up about it. I remember, like, my first year, I'm just like, oh my God, I just felt like I was failing. And the student came up to me and she said, Ms. Clark, you're the best teacher in the world. And bless her heart, that child had no idea how badly I needed to hear that. So the point I'm trying to make is we are our worst critics, and we sometimes don't see the good things that we're actually doing as well. But I was very lucky that I had very supportive administration and very supportive mentor and teachers, and people saw that I was working hard, and people did see the good that I was doing. But me, I was just like, oh my goodness, the kids are not doing this, I'm not doing that, why are they not listening to this? Why? And you can beat yourself up about it, but teaching is not easy. Teaching is very difficult. And just give yourself a break. You're new at this. That's it. So all the best this school year, and thanks again to Vanessa and Chelsea. And like I said before, I'm going to link all teachers who have participated in this collaboration down below. And yeah, watch the videos, take the advice, and have a great school year. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And again, do not forget to subscribe. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.